Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel, and on today's video I want to talk about bulk season and then going into cutting season. So there is a reason behind why we do this, but I think that some people are a bit confused, and sometimes coaches tell people what to do but they don't tell them why we're doing it. So there is a real reason why there is supposed to be a bulk during the winter and then why it goes into cutting in the summer. So to talk about this, I'm going to explain it in a couple of different types of sports. So one I'm going to talk about is in bodybuilding, for what I used to do, my experience, and then how you can use this in a different sport. For example, a cyclist I'm going to use as a power, speed, strength, sprinter type cyclist. So a lot of people these days, I think it's become like popular, Instagram, YouTube, just the hashtag bulking, but they don't really know why they're doing it. And I think a lot of people just see it as a lazy way of not training so much in the winter and just eat whatever they like. And then their excuse for getting fat and not training as hard and being strict on the diet in the winter is just bulking. But that's not the reason why people bulk. So probably bodybuilders who sort of started the general bulk season, as we all know it, because during the summer people want to have a six-pack, people want to look good for the beach, but during the summer is normally when bodybuilding competitions happen. So mine, for example, used to happen in the beginning of May. So from beginning of May onwards, that's when you look your best, the leanest. Now, I know from my experience with Instagram at the moment, most people I follow or people I see on Instagram, they're not bodybuilders. They will hashtag bodybuilding type exercises and routines and things, but they don't actually compete in a bodybuilding competition. So I don't see them as a bodybuilder. Or a lot of them also compete in bodybuilding competitions, but just call them shows because they're just doing it for their own motivation to enter a competition. Even if they come 10th, they don't mind because they've stood on stage, they've overcome fears of standing in front of people, taking their clothes off. But a lot of people now, they'll even do photo shoots in the summer before they go on holiday, but it's just for looks. But really, it came down to bodybuilders for their the competition of being the biggest and muscliest as they can with the least amount of fat in the May. So with the bodybuilding competition training plan, you reverse train it. So you plan it in reverse. So if your competition is on the 1st of May and you're going to do a 12-week training plan, I used to use 12 weeks because I never went over the top with body fat. So you'd work back 12 weeks before. Some people do 14 weeks or 16 weeks. So you're going to start to think about dieting somewhere in the January. That's when you're going to cut carbs. You'll maybe increase cardio slightly, and slowly over the weeks, you'll start to slowly reduce the weight and the strength training you're doing. And there's a reason why you reduce the weight. It's because of the plan is. So I used to then reverse your training plan from the January, cut back into the finish of the last competition season when you're bulking. So some people call it bulking and cutting, but it should be called in season and off season. But off season, people use that as a hashtag as well, but there is a word for it. It's for you're not in competition season. So competition season is your May, if you get through to the final, end of May, June, maybe July or whatever. That's the season where you got as many competitions as you can in the summer. Off season then is the time when you haven't got your competitions, which would be from the last competition up until the January. Now, this is the time when you can relax a little bit. It doesn't mean get as fat as you like. It doesn't mean it's not training as you like. But in the off season, that's when you do your heavy weight training, your heavy lifting, and you can eat more because you've got the goal of getting bigger. That's if your goal is to get bigger. So what I used to do was, say you enter a competition in the May and your body weight is 200 kilograms. Let's just say pounds. We're doing pounds. Kilograms, pounds or stones. Let's just say at the beginning of May, the 1 year, you were 200 pounds, very, very, very lean. Muscly, bodybuilder, really great shape, really good. But all the other bodybuilders in my height class, they were taller than me, so they were 220, 230, 240, up to 300 pounds, I think. They were monsters. So in my mind, I'd think, for next year, on stage, I probably want to be 210 pounds. Can I add 10 pounds in a year of quality muscle? Well, we don't know. We got to guess. It might work, it might not work, but let's just say that's the goal. Okay, we'll go for 210 pounds of muscle. But this is also why you keep diaries, logs and diaries for years and years and years. You can do a graph. Well, how heavy was I last year for the last bulk? So how heavy do I need to be this year for this bulk to be at 210 pounds come season in the summer? So what you need to do is push past the 210 pounds, maybe 220, maybe 230, not too much, because you know you got to cut back again. If you go crazy and go too much, anyone can get fat. That's not the whole point. The point is to beat that 210 pounds with a little bit of fat extra, because you've been heavy training and you need the energy to train hard. Then hopefully then with a 12-week diet, when you come back down again the other side, you'll be 210 pounds, not 200 pounds. To get bigger, you're going to have to lift up heavier weights. Heavier weights, you're going to have to eat more to have the energy to lift up the weight. By eating more to reach your protein and your carb figures, there will be a bit of extra fat. But we don't mind, because it's winter off season. We're not going to go to the beach. It's colder in our country anyway. So you can always put a hoodie on. You can always put baggy trousers on and no one can see. So that's why it's not a fashion, it started to be a fashion thing. But the reason why you see bodybuilders wearing hoodies while they're training is because in most bodybuilding gyms, it was freezing. In my shed in the winter, it's freezing. I showed you the other day, it was literally 0 or minus in the shed, same temperature as it was outside the shed. The metal dumbbells, the metal plates, the metal bars are cold, so you wear gloves, you wear a hoodie, you wear a beanie, jogging bottoms. It's not a vest and shorts and stringers. So that's why people wear the heavier clothes in the winter, because it's bloody cold in a bodybuilding gym. But the good thing is, because they're putting on bulk for the planned year ahead, because they want to be stronger for next year ahead, they look a bit fluffy, but they don't mind because they're covering themselves up with a hoodie. But it's the same process for other sports as well. As long as your sport is obviously a summer sport where you're peaking in the summer, obviously winter sports would be opposite. They'd have an off season in the summer. So, for example, if you're talking about cyclists, Tour de France could be on in May or June. So they try and they probably relax a little bit about carb intake and fat intake over the winter because they know there's no competitions. But they might also do a bit of gym work to increase the leg strength or to recover from an injury. They know there's no heavy races in December. They can relax a little bit. And also, they might want to put on a bit of extra weight, knowing that after a 3-week Tour de France, they'll lose weight. So it's not all about the weight of it. It's also to do with what performance do they get at a certain weight. They know at the end of the Tour de France, they still need to compete somewhere the same performance as the beginning of the Tour de France. Beginning of the Tour de France, if they're 70 kilogram and at the end they're 65, well, that's no good. So they need to be somewhere similar to 70 kilograms at the end. To be 70 kilograms at the end, they might need to be 75 at the beginning. But to be 75 at the beginning, they're going to have to be a bit stronger and a bit fitter than what they were at the end. So this is the confusion part, where some people don't understand why they're doing what they're doing, and the coach should really tell them more about why they're doing what they're doing. For example, the other day, I saw somebody posting, they're doing a bulk, and they put on a bit of weight. I can't remember what figures they've said, but they put a bit of weight on, and last year they could see a six-pack, and this year they can't see any six-pack. And they're probably a bit worried that they're not as lean and muscly as they used to be. But what the goal should be is, right then, this year, if your body weight is 70 kilograms, you can squat 100 kilograms on a squat test, and then that in a cycling fitness test, say it equals 1,000 watts on a 5-second sprint test. In your race this year, you came second, and the guy who beat you, he had 1,100 watts. So you know he's the same weight as you, he's got the same bike as you, and everything's all the same. So you know the only way to beat him is to beat 1,100 watts. So we won't go crazy, we'll aim to go 1,150. We'll beat it by a little tiny bit. Going off graphs or charts or just experience and knowledge, you could maybe say that, because a lot of people don't publish their results, you could say maybe if I could squat 110 kilograms, that'd be 1,100. So I need to squat 1,000. No, sorry, I got confused. If I could squat 115 kilograms, that would give me my 1,150 watts on a bike. It wouldn't, I'm just saying, let's just say for example, just for the figures, just for the video. So you got a goal then, but you can say, well, from experience, I know that a 70 kilogram body weight, I can't squat 115 kilograms. My power to weight ratio is out. My legs aren't big enough at this weight. So what you do is in the winter, you eat more, you train heavier. Eventually, you might get up to 120 kilogram squat. You go, yes, I got a 1 rep max, 120 kilogram, but I'm 75 kilograms of body weight. Then what you do is you go to cutting season and you slowly reduce the heavy squats. Because you reduce to heavy squats, your 1 rep max is going to slowly come down to 119, 118, 117. Hopefully, by your May when your competition, you can do your 115 kilogram squat. Hopefully your body weight has dropped back down to maybe 72 kilograms. So you're slightly heavier than that other person. But now your squat is 115 kilograms. Your 5-second power might be 1,150. Hopefully, if that guy hasn't improved as well, his is still 1,100, you're going to beat him. In the bodybuilding world, the people who are bigger than me, they're taller than me, they might be older than me, and they've done it for longer than me. If you're new into a sport, they're not going to keep increasing body weight every year. So you're going to hope that one day somebody stays at 240 pounds. So this year you'll be 200, next year you'll be 210, 220, 230. One day you're going to get to 240. So that's why every year you bulk, you cut. You bulk a bit more, you cut. You bulk a bit more, and you cut. And you bulk a bit more. And after 4 years of bulking, that's why you have an Olympic 4-year cycle. After 4 years of cutting, bulking, the end goal is I'm going to be 240 pounds on stage. I'm going to be single-digit body fat percentage, and I'm going to look good. But you need to have what you are now, what you want to be, and what it's going to take in the middle to do that. That might mean I need to be able to squat a certain weight. I need to be this heavy to be strong enough to do that certain weight. And to do that certain weight, and I need to eat more food. And to eat more food, yeah, I'm going to be a bit fatter, I'm going to be a bit fluffier. But don't forget, you got to come back down the other side. And when you come to cutting, you will lose strength, you will lose size, You might lose some fat, but you might have to increase cardio as well. And that will lose performance. Don't forget, you'll lose performance as well. So you've got to go a bit heavier, even heavier than what you want to be. So when it comes down, you'll still be at your end goal. That goes the same as all sports. You still need to be able to sprint 10 seconds. Your 10-second sprint, your 100 metres, your 200 metres, your 400 metres. Even marathon runners might do this. You might have lost a bit of weight this year. So if I put on 3 kilograms over the winter, and then if I lose 2 kilograms, I'll be a kilogram heavier next year, or even opposite. You might want to lose weight. So every sport has got a winter season or off season, but it's not just for hashtag off season, hashtag bulking. There is a reason why. It's to increase performance in strength. So when it comes to the in-season, in competition, it's not called hashtag cutting, it is in-season. And then your performance is going to be better this next year than it was last year. And over a couple of years, you'd improve, you'd improve, you'd improve. And hopefully, at the end of a couple of years cycle, you're going to be a better performer. But that's why. It's to get stronger. Don't forget, you're going to lose performance on the cut. So that's why you need to go over even more than what you want to do. So even more. If you want to squat 120 kilograms, squat 130. Aim for the 130 or 125. However small your little increments are, aim to go further, even more than what you want to be. So then when you cut, you will be able to do 110 or 115. You will be a bit stronger and a bit faster because you're going to be a little bit heavier. So you got to beat gravity, beat aerodynamics, beat inertia. You got to remember to do your flexibility and your cardio and things as well. So as a package, you're going to be stronger at the end, coming at the other side. So don't forget, it's not just hashtag bulking, hashtag cutting. It's hashtag off season, hashtag in season. And there is a reason why you got in season. It's because it's actually sports season. It's not just I go to the gym and I'm cutting and bulking for the beach. Bodybuilding happens in May. Olympics happen in the summer. Tour de France happen in the summer. Most competitions happen in the summer. So you have a bit of flexibility in the winter where you can train harder. It doesn't matter so much about injuries. You can take a holiday, have a break, train harder. It's not a hashtag heavy hoodies just for the sake of it. People wear heavy hoodies because it's cold in the winter, and strongmen train in big, hard, heavy gyms where it's like Atlas balls, a concrete ball, big, heavy girders. Heavy metal is cold metal. So that's why it's not all about fashion. It's not all about Instagram and YouTube. There is a reason why there's a training plan like this. Okay, so I'm not going to go into details about how to do it. That's just why we do this. Get an understanding of why you do a bulk and why you do a cut. If you are interested in a cut or a bulk, let me know. We could talk about how to go around it. But just a bit of a chat, really. Not sure what the next video will be about. December tomorrow, so festive season's coming along. I'm still going to train all the way through. I still train on Christmas Day. I'm not sure this year, will it be a bike, a run, or a gym session this year? I know the last 2 years I did a 20-mile bike ride, but I haven't been cycling for October and November, so I'm not going to beat any goals, but might just do a little fun ride out, or might do a weights training session. I don't know. Who knows? But stay tuned for the video. Sorry if I've been looking that way. I'm on my phone, but the camera's that way, but I'm on the camera TV screen here. Okay, so stay tuned. See you soon, and have fun.